in Chi we have something called the C-PUF system, which I'm going to introduce you to today. And it explains to you the 4 pillars of relationships to do with patience. So if you don't mind, just for a few minutes, I can read these to you, and you can contemplate them in your own space and time. So C-PUF, that's an acronym, C-P-U-F. We'll find out what it stands for now. So, the first rule is C for, any ideas? Calmness. In every self-respecting society, like this one, we should all be the embodiment of calmness when dealing with each other. Metaphysically, yoga teaches us that we are all one being, fragmented into separate pieces, but ultimately united in our souls as the Great Spirit, or God. When Jesus said, "Love thy neighbour as thyself," he wasn't being fanciful or poetic. He was being factual. When we are dealing with each other, we are in fact dealing with ourselves. So no matter how we are treated verbally or emotionally, we must not respond with aggression, accusation, or ill manners. Because just as when we make a mistake in our own lives, we all prefer to be spoken to as human beings, calmly, and have truth calmly explained to us. It's our natural preference. No one desires hostility or rudeness. Therefore, if we are disappointed or otherwise upset by a person, we must stay calm out of common respect for ourselves and humanity. That's the first rule, stay calm. P, patience. We should try and remain calm and polite in spite of all difficult personal situations. If you are unhappy with how a person has treated you, try not to respond until you have control of your breath, your heart, your mind, and most importantly, your tongue. If God had wanted you to hiss and spit venom, he would have made you a snake. If you continue to behave like this, don't be surprised if in your next life you are crawling along the ground on your belly, spitting and hissing like a cold-blooded reptile, eating mice and rats, and insects and spiders. Break out of this habit of spitting venom. It's not the mark of a divine human being. We must demonstrate patience and never speak hurriedly out of anger, nervousness, or hurt. We must calm down and think. Part 3, U, C-PUF. U for understanding. Whilst being patient, give yourself time to consider and contemplate the other person. Think about why you think you've been abused. And just make sure it really is abuse and it's not just hypersensitivity. It may well be abuse, or it may be a bit of both. That tiny bit of honest self-reflection can save many relationships. If you feel it's definitely wrong, what's happened in your relationship, any types of relationship, then think about what the other person is also going through in their life. Have they experienced something negative recently? Have they had bad traumatic experiences in their life? Are they healthy? Ill health causes toxic blood and bad moods. When your blood is toxic, you get in a bad mood. It's not always your fault. Are they wiser than they've just behaved? Can they realistically behave any better anytime soon? Try not to judge without reason or wisdom. Are they happy inside? Did they mean to hurt you? What was their motive and intention? Was their body language in tune with their words? Or was it just a bad joke? Do all this consideration as part of your understanding process in your human relationships. Really get into their position True understanding means standing under. Understand means stand under a person's position and see things from their perspective. Finally, honestly consider what corrections you can make to your own behavior. Sometimes it's not them to stop these things happening. But don't abuse yourself by blaming yourself for anything. This is never about blame. It's about fairness and responsibility. If anger is a machine gun, noisy and loud, then blame is a hand grenade, silent but deadly. F is for forgiveness. After being calm and patient, despite being mentally or emotionally hurt, and after taking time to understand the other person, you will begin to feel some empathy and sympathy towards them, both for what and for where they are in their lives, and for what they can truly manage in that moment. At this point, you'll find it easier to forgive them and move on. If, however, you're still having difficulty, you either need to take yourself physically away from that person and position for a little while, or you may need to grow a bit more in terms of wisdom and the ability to love unconditionally so that you can remain unaffected by it whilst developing spiritually as a person. Relationships are there for two reasons. One is the reason we all adore: company, support, sharing, fun times, unity, and so on. But the other reason is to teach us. The other reason is to teach us. But your child, partner, or friend doesn't hand you a dossier on them when you first meet them, filled with charts and bullet points of the kind of things to look out for in my negative behavior. You have to find that all out for yourself. Just as you don't like to divulge much of the pain in the bottom that you are to people when you first meet them. You don't go and tell everyone, "Hi, nice to meet you, but I have these issues." You like to give yourself some time, just in case you don't happen to show those issues in that relationship. So we all need to discover each other fresh. Therefore, you need to take the time to do that fairly with people. Take the time. Remember that everyone is taking that time for you too, and forgiving you too, and being patient with you too. They just don't have to tell you all the time to do it, but they're doing it. You are far from perfect. So are we all. The bottom line is that we need people just as much as we need ourselves. So we all have to learn the Chi Yoga acronym C-PUF. Calmness, patience, understanding, and forgiveness. So that the road to human happiness becomes a little bit easier and a little bit more fulfilling. Now, just sit for 1 minute with your eyes closed in meditation, all of you.